Jerry Goldsmith was no stranger to action-adventure movies, having scored many pictures in the genre throughout his career. In the mid-90s, he worked on 3 movies I would like to label his Wild Animal trilogy, which included Congo, The Ghost in the Darkness, and in '97, The Edge. The Edge is a solid adventure movie, starring Anthony Hopkins and Alec Baldwin as 2 men who crash an airplane and end up stranded out in the wilderness together, and eventually go toe-to-toe with a massive Kodiak bear. It's directed by some guy named Lee Tamarai, who would later direct XXX State of the Union, and arguably the worst James Bond movie ever, Die Another Day. The Edge benefits from having a strong cast, a screenplay by renowned playwright David Mamet, and of course, a score by Jerry Goldsmith. With The Edge, Goldsmith delivered one of his finest scores of the 1990s, creating a musical landscape that captures the epic nature of the film, that is alternately gorgeous and terrifying. There are 3 main themes he uses throughout the score. The first one, simply called the Edge theme, is the main theme and most associated with Hopkins' character. It has a sweeping sense of the outdoor beauty, with just a tinge of melancholy. The next theme, known mainly as the Wilderness theme, is employed when the men are trekking through the wild, and it helps convey their desperate situation. The third theme is for the bear, and it is crazy sounding. Trombones bend their pitch to create a heart-stopping, scary fucking sound, and as the bear begins to chase, awesome percussion and a repeating 4-note motif kicks it into high gear. In 1997, the original soundtrack was released, with just 10 tracks clocking in just under 40 minutes. Now, it wouldn't be fair to review this edition since I never actually owned a copy. The complete score was released in 2010 by La La Land Records, that has double the amount of tracks at 20, with 3 bonus tracks as well. In order for me to justify my appreciation for this edition, I figured I owed it to myself to at least hear the original presentation. So, I check iTunes. Nothing. I then go on Amazon.com. No thanks, I'm not spending $20 on a more than likely inferior version. Then, I had an idea. I would check the track list, write down the tracks and their order, go to My Music, delete all of the tracks from my complete score that are not on the original soundtrack, synced it up to my MP3 player, popped in the earbuds, and gave it a listen. And, as I expected, it's no match for the complete version. It gives a decent overview of the main themes, but the disjointed flow due to the non-chronological sequencing causes the soundtrack to lose any subtle suspense in the narrative when the musical ideas don't have time to develop properly. Also, the original soundtrack doesn't have this track, which contains one of my favorite moments from the entire score. So I guess what I'm getting at is, this one's better. Sure, the 3 bonus tracks, which are just 3 alternates, aren't life-changing, but as stated before, the music presentation is outstanding. The booklet included is pretty good, several pages detailing the making of the film and Goldsmith's involvement, as well as a track-by-track analysis. The cover isn't amazing, a standard issue Photoshop job it looks like, but the most puzzling thing I noticed is throughout the entire booklet there isn't one picture of the bear. That is so bizarre to me. I mean, the bear is almost the star of the movie. There are 4 pictures of Elle Macpherson, for fuck's sake, and she's barely in the film. If you asked anyone if they've seen the movie, no one would say, "Oh, the movie with Elle Macpherson?" No, they would almost always definitely mention the bear. That'd be like having a soundtrack for Jaws and not include any pictures of the shark. Well, maybe you're thinking, the soundtrack. It's about the music, not the characters from the movie or anything else. Fine. Then how come the first paragraph in the book that mentions him, and it goes on in the next couple of pages talking mostly about the bear? The booklet itself is in loving memory of the bear. The cover of the Blu-ray has a picture of him, so why not anywhere on the soundtrack? As he was obviously beloved in Hollywood, appearing in many films until he died in 2000. The bear even presented an award at the following year's Oscars, for crying out loud. I just don't understand. Anyway, I cannot recommend this score enough. Despite some minor nitpicks I have about the booklet, the score presentation is fantastic, and that's what really matters. It's one of my favorite scores from Jerry Goldsmith, and one of the best he did back in the 1990s.